Vader just happened to be back in town from overseas, working over there with Otto Vance over there in Germany. And at this given point in time, he also was working down with NWA, I want to say, or AWA. And also, he was also working over with New Japan at the time. And so he happened to be on the card, seen one of my matches on the card, and came up and said, yo, look, I can get you over in Japan, New Japan Dojo. I'll talk to the guys over there. And pretty much after that, man, Vader was the one who that got me started and spotted me and got me into pursuing my wrestling career more, as when he got me over into Japan.
Were they training you to paying you to train in the dojo?
At that given point in time, they was paying me to go to Japan and train. I was getting paid $500 at that time to train in Japan, getting paid by them. Plus, when there was tours and I was on the road, I was getting per diem.
How was the training in those days? Was it pretty grueling?
Put it like this, half the kids in the business nowadays wouldn't even be in the business if they had to go through the training that New Japan would put you through. They would weed out the guys real quick. It was real hectic. 1,000 squat, 1,000 push-ups, 3 hours training, besides, the conditioning training, the weight training, the shoot training. Nowadays people talk about MMA, man, that was going on in Japan way back when, back in Gracie and, days back in the day, Shamrock and now.
Was Antonio Inoki around at all in those days?
Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, he used to come into the dojo all the time. He stretched the guys and work out all the time. He was still really active and loved to stay in shape. And like I say, he had really started that company, and him and Sakaguchi, at the given point in time. So yeah, he was one that was really big into wrestling, but he would always be in and out of the dojo and make sure he was part of the big shows and the big events if he wasn't booked to wrestle against somebody, one of the big names that was coming over.
Did you get the chance to grapple with him at all?
I had got the chance to be stretched by him. I can't really say that I had the opportunity to grapple with him. I thought I was wrestling with him, and of course, playing around with me, back in the day, just learning about Japanese style of wrestling, thought that I knew, about submission holds and stuff like that. I really got my ass handed to me, so yes.
So did you get to know Vader better in that time when you were in New Japan and he was also a big star there in Japan?
I really got to know Vader. Like I say, Vader took me under his wing and got me over there. The point that I had got over there, I was basically his young boy and got to know him over a period of time. But Vader had lived in Boulder, Colorado, so when I was home, I had the opportunity to go up to his house and, hang out with his son and meet his wife, at the given point in time, and, chill with his dogs and, and talk about the wrestling business and the things to come.
And what was your favorite memory of that time in New Japan? Is there any match that sticks out to you?
Man, I can say all the matches stuck out to me, but most of all, I would say the first time being over there in the J Cup, going to my first J Cup over there with New Japan, meeting some of the great wrestlers from all around the world, like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. You're talking about guys from Canada, Mexico, from the States, from all around the world. So I had a chance or an opportunity to be in the ring with some of the best from all around the world. Dave Finlay, and guys like that.
What was Chris Benoit like in those days?
Back in the day, Chris was a real cool, laid-back kind of a person. And I really take my hat off to Chris, because when I first went to New Japan for training, Chris had a 3-week tour had 3 weeks off, I should say, not necessarily a tour, but had 3 weeks off to go home. And he started to stay in Japan for about a week and a half to help me out, to make sure that I was going to be on track and be prepared for the ass whooping that I had coming for me, as far as what I was really getting in store for as far as training in New Japan Dojo.
Were you surprised at everything that happened with him?
I was very much surprised to hear on everything that happened with him, especially after knowing Woman and she being our manager and ECW and stuff like that. And me and Chris, just having that chemistry of where we had a bad match, folks thought it was a good match. When we had a good match, they thought it was a great match. So when we had a great match, it was like, hey, here's the roadmap, try to follow that, because we just burned down the house.